I don't know what I would be if I wasn't a cyclist. You know, I have a lot of passion for it. And I think my passion grows every year, actually, for the sport. And I think it's an amazing sport. And the more I watch it from afar, I realize how much of an insane sport it really is. It's amazing. You know, and I've seen it all. I wouldn't trade anything for the world for cycling at this point in time. I was always around racing my whole life. You know, I knew a bunch of old racers who I now call friends, who became my coaches, who, you know, pretty much changed my diapers when I was a kid. They're my dad's teammates or roommates, things like that. I thought that was just a normal thing. You know, I went to bike races for my birthday parties, those kind of things. And then fast forward in racing when I was 15 years old, when I thought that I was ready, I still didn't know anything what I was doing. And luckily my dad was actually in the race with me. It was a citizens race, and he kind of like, you know, ushered me around and made sure I was safe. I was nothing at that point in time as a cyclist, but I viewed it as, you know, that was my future, and I needed to start preparing myself. I had this really weird mentality that was just always, you know, my dad did that for a living, so that's what I was going to do for a living, and it was easy as that, you know. I've always been close with my father since day one. I used to ride my bike with him when I was 3 or 4 years old. You could hear him pumping up the tires at 5:30 in the morning. You hear the psh, you know, and I'd jump up and I'd run and jump on my little bike, and I'd ride the first 3 or 4 miles with him. Yeah, now my daughters do the same thing. They don't ride with me in the morning, but yeah, I was pretty keen, that's for sure. My grandfather and all my great uncles all rode, and my dad rode with those guys, and that's how he grew up cycling. And I think they still actually have the same route in the burbs of Chicago. And then, you know, my sister and my brother and I all saw that, and we had, you know, Belgian national champion jerseys when we were kids and things like that for Christmas. My grandma watches the race. She can't get it in her home anymore, and so she goes to like the Ford dealership. She watches it in the waiting room, you know, and then if she can't get it there, then she goes to the bike shop, and the bike shop has a special chair for my 90-year-old grandma sitting there in her chair, Mary Vandevelde's chair, and everyone doesn't mess with her while the tour's on. So it's still really special. All the old school Belgian, the old Belgian mafia still appreciates cycling, that's for sure. My little brother has had a really rough childhood for sure. He had 2 liver transplants, and he was unbelievably lucky to get through all those things, but unbelievably strong at the same time. And then he just decided he wanted to ride his bike a couple years ago. He got really into it, and he had a goal, and the transplant games came to Madison, Wisconsin, where he lives. So it was just perfect for him. You know, he started off in the time trial, and he barely got off the ramp, and we were like, oh man, it was a pretty shaky start. And then he came across like an animal, and of course blew everyone away. And it was almost kind of embarrassing, you know, with his name and everything, like he was kind of beating up on these other poor guys. That's the mentality of an athlete. You're not satisfied with a 4th place, you want a 3rd place or a 2nd or, you know, 1st, and if you win, you want to win twice. Last year in Velde, the day before, I had a great race up until the final, and I dropped the ball in the last descent and just didn't know the descent, didn't know my way back into Aspen. So I tried to make things right in the Velde time trial. I went very fast. I've never gone that fast up Velde past. Maybe I never will again, but I believe I went that little bit faster, and that was hard to swallow, just because, not because I lost, but just because I lost the record, and something that I really held near and dear to my heart for a long time. I left with a bittersweet taste in my mouth, you know. I pseudo-promised myself that I'd come back and win it in 2012.
Thanks for getting to know Christian with us. And Christian, good luck in the tour.